Hi, I'm Ian and I thought I'd bring you along for my conversion of this van. It's a Transit Custom 2017. This is the first proper van I've had really. I've just had a people carrier in the past with a basic bed conversion in the back. So what we're doing at the minute is we're just going to insulate it to start with. So I'm using this closed cell foam. This is 7mm closed cell foam that's great for not letting any water in. It's got foil on the front and it's sticky back on the back. So it's just a case of going through, cutting it all to shape, filling in the edges. I'm fortunate enough to be able to sleep across this van into the window recesses here. So what we're going to do is build a high level bed, and then there'll be storage underneath. And once we've fitted all of this insulation, I'm using this aluminium tape to seal it up so that there's no moisture gets in. Depending on where we're going, we're either putting 1, 2 or 3 layers on, and we're trying to just make it as warm and toasty as possible. So this is the passenger side of the van. Over here we've almost done really. The wheel arch has all been lined. There's 2 layers on there. The wing here has got 3 layers on it, and up into the recess we've got just 1 on the window to make sure we maximise the space. There was an access port behind here that allows you to get to some of the wiring loom and stuff, so I've made sure that I've done a joint over that, so if there's any reason to get to that in the future we can just cut this tape and peel it back. A lot of this will be carpeted with 4-way stretch material. Got to have a little experiment about how that sticks onto this insulation and whether we need to board or not. I'm not really that keen on boarding it out. I don't need to fix anything to it, but I'm not sure whether the contact adhesive that's used on the glue will affect this material or not. So I've got to do a test patch and see how that goes. So we've got up into the recesses, we've taped it all out. This bit will get some more treatment later on, and over in the door jamb there I've just wrapped it around a little bit and I'll use the foil tape to seal that. The next thing really is just to finish off this back end, and then we'll move on to building the bed. My intention there is to have a bulkhead across, which I'm going to weld up out of some steel tubing, just square box section. Hopefully that will stop anything in the back coming forwards in the event of a crash. And there'll be a bed section on top of that. That's going to be 1.75, 1.8 metres across between the windows, but there'll also be a pull-out drawer section that will allow it to be 1.9 metres long down the van with a full width at the top end for 2 people to sleep side by side. We'll go through that later on. You can see here I've started to fill in the recesses and level out any of the roof structure, and then we'll just get another layer over the whole lot, so we'll cover these reinforcing struts all the way through. I was trying to decide what I was going to do with electrics, and whether I wanted any lights to run off the leisure battery, and should I run cabling for that now. What I've done at the minute is I'm just going to leave these factory lights in. These are LED, these come standard with the van. They seem very good. Obviously they won't be able to run all the time without flattening the van battery. There will be a leisure battery in here, but I'll probably put in some little LED strip lights that just run along the side. There's going to be over in the corner behind the driver's seat, there's going to be a little cupboard there, so I might have a little uplighter or something, make it easy to access the cables and make sure that they can be maintained or replaced, or anything I need to get to them easily, modify them, whatever. Probably much easier than putting them behind the insulation and the carpeting. Obviously the van was lined originally. You can see the factory panel lining at the back here. That's all come off, and all the clips that were holding it on have come off as well. I need to get rid of all of that on the back doors and start insulating those as well. So like on this side again, there's an access panel here with some access to some control modules and some of the looms. So in the same way as I have on that side, I've left this not attached, it's not glued on, I've still got the paper backing on there, and I'll just tape that up, and if we ever need to get back in here for any reason, we can just cut that tape and we'll be able to get access into there. You might be able to see here that not only have I got 3 layers of insulation on this inner wing, I've gone through, and on the outer panel as well I've got some insulation in there, so we're just trying to get as much in there as we can. This insulation wasn't the cheapest, but I think it's worthwhile. I've done quite a lot of thinking and research into what kind of stuff I should use. I've had some polyurethane foam I've been storing for several years with the intention of doing this. It's just too much effort to cut and fit that. The spray foam's very good, but it's very expensive. And things like rock wool I'm not sure about. They just sag over time, they hold moisture. I'm not convinced that it's a good plan for a van that you plan on keeping for a long time. This material, it's about £70 for 10 square metres. You could probably do it with one or two of those rolls, but I've purchased 4. I thought, you know, this is one time to get the van insulated and make sure it's as warm as possible. I want to use this all winter. Use it in Scotland, use it in Europe. So spend that money now and get a good job done on it. I do plan on also fitting a diesel heater as well, but I think the insulation's the best bet. The diesel heaters, they're very cheap now. They're about £100–150. They're coming from China, and they seem to get very good reviews. There's some problems with reliability, but at that price you can just buy a new one. The diesel heater will have to mount through the floor here, so what I'm going to do at the minute is I'm going to start by insulating the floor. But I'll leave a gap here for coming in and drilling holes for the intake and exhaust for the diesel heater. There'll also be a gas locker. I'm yet to decide whether that's going to be in this back corner near the rear doors, or whether I'm going to put it near the front underneath the stove, where it can also form a step up onto the bed. Need to have another little think about which is better there. Obviously at the back it restricts access for loading a little bit. But we'll decide. I'm worried at the front that the gas vent, where I need to drill a hole through the floor to allow any potential leakage out, would interfere and come near the diesel tank, which is under there. Obviously I don't want to drill any holes in the van near the diesel tank, but we'll see. We'll make a decision about that in the next few days and crack on with the other stuff first. So what I'm trying to do all the time is make sure that I don't back myself into any corners. Leave the design quite open and flexible, like allow it to evolve as we go along. There's things I know I can do. There's bits of the floor I know I can insulate. I know I can finish the roof off, and other bits will just come back. And with this insulation method, I know if I leave a gap, I can come back and fill it in later and just use the aluminium tape to seal it, and we're all good there. This van did come originally with a plastic load bay cover. It's very thick, quite high quality. I'm hoping that I can reuse that in the rear area, cut it in half, ply line and insulate the front, and put a lino down or some carpet. But in the back I'd like to use that plastic load bay cover. I just don't know how it's going to interfere with the diesel heater and the gas tank if that's in the back. So we'll have to come to that when it becomes time. And if it's a problem, again, it'll just get ply lined and vinyled in the back here. So I'm going to crack on with some more of this insulation now, and I'll bring you back and show you what I've done in a bit. Okay, right, as you can see, I've done this side panel here. Quite a lot of insulation's gone into here. Several layers in there, filled it in, and I've tried to create some baffles inside to stop any air within those panels moving around, creating convection currents. So I'm going to call it done for today. That's 20 square metres now in this van. Basically just the roof and the floor left to do, and then the sliding door and the back doors. Feel like I've cracked most of it. So I'm probably going to crack on with the bed next and see how we get on with that, and then come back, finish off the insulation and think about how we're going to carpet it.